Hello and welcome people, this is your host Ray speaking, and in today's story we'll discuss how to create drag and drop functionality in your React application in just 5 steps. So let's start with step number 1. Go to npm.js websites, search for React Beautiful DNB package and install it using yarn or npm. Step number 2. Use drag drop context wrapper which is provided by React Beautiful DNB. This wrapper need to be wrapped to the component on which drag and drop functionality needs to be implemented. This also required a props called on drag and end, which we will define later in the end of the video. Step number 3 is to use the droppable props or the wrapper which has been provided by the same React Beautiful DNB package. This needs the droppable ID which can be string. You can pass whatever string you want. And next part is to use the callback methods to render the droppable components, or let's say the children of the components. The last part is to pass the props and to access the DOM element using the ref which has been provided by the callback methods parameters, and you can pass the props using again the same provided parameters such as provided dot droppable props. Step number 4. First, we'll start by rendering each and every child elements of the drop components. These elements are the element which we can drag it. So these are called as a drag elements, and we'll use a map methods provided by the array itself to render the drag children's. The drag components will be reusable components which require some of the imperative props such as keys, elements, values, and indexes. And the next part is to create these reusable drag components. So we'll make it a reusable, and of course this requires a draggable wrapper provided by React Beautiful DNB, and we'll use it to render and wrap it over each of a drag elements. In order to render the children of a draggable wrappers, we'll use the callback methods, and this methods returns us the provided parameters, again similar to the droppable wrapper, and we'll pass it to the as a props to the children or to the drag component or the drag element. And we'll also need to access the DOM element which we will access by providing the ref, and we'll also pass another props, some of the props, let's say, such as drag handle props and draggable props, which are imperative to execute or let's say implement the drag functionality of each and every drag element which we want to drag in the drop component. The last part is to use those keys of the reusable drag components, keys and indexes and element value, and pass the draggable ID and the key to the draggable wrapper provided by React Beautiful DNB. This helps to implement the drag functionality of each and every drag elements. Step number 5 is to update the states as well as save the states, and to define the on-drag end method. We'll use the useDate hook provided by the React itself, and we'll pass this data array as a default value of our state component of the state of the component. And instead of iterating over the data array, now we'll iterate over the state array. The last step is to define the on-drag end method, which of course gives us the result object consisting of the source and destinations, indexes as well as value of the element which are dragged and dropped. First, we'll handle the edge case. If the destination is not available, we'll handle the edge case, we'll return it. You can even handle the edge case by providing up the alerts or the toasts and so on. Next, we'll iterates. We'll using the spread operators. Next, we will first spread the states, the initial state, and then using the splice method of the arrays, will replace the destinations and the source of the dragged elements, and then we'll update our use states final with the final updated elements or the final updated array in order to change our drag and drop to one. The last step is the styling. We'll give some of the stylings the using some of the CSS. I'm using Tailwind CSS. You can use whatever material UI, chunk UI you want to use to just provides a good hovering and drag and drop functionalities. You can also use some of the methods provided by drag drop context to gives the background colors when user is dragging and dropping the elements. That's it for today, people. Until next time, have a good day.